Hey everyone, it's Michelle. So I was inspired to make this video after talking with this one girl that I've been messaging with, and she was saying how oh Michelle, you're so smart, you've got straight A's, your friends are really supportive, you have a job, you seem like this outgoing and bubbly person. I just don't understand it. How could you have an eating disorder? And she was saying how in her own life it's completely obvious she would have one, but for me she just didn't see it. And the first thing I thought of was when I was in my school counselor's office, and it was the first time that I was telling her I had an eating disorder. And I was sitting there, so anxious and stuff. And so basically, I told her about my eating disorder. And she was saying how I am a very good student and stuff, and how I work hard after school at my job, and she's saying all this stuff, and she said how you're the you're the last person I would think of to have an eating disorder, but you're the first candidate because eating disorders affect everyone. They don't discriminate against race or sex or age or any factor. They want to get as many people as they can under their power. Um, I have talked with people who have eating disorders. I've talked with whites. I've talked with blacks. I've talked with Asians. Um, I have talked with people who have eating disorders from age 14 to people who are 20 something with eating disorders. I've talked with people in their 30s who have eating disorders. I've talked to somebody in their 40s actually. Um, and there's also like I know a male anorexic, and there's also a male anorexic that I follow here on YouTube. And I mean, a lot of the times you think of eating disorders as a girl thing, but it does affect men. Um, and that's definitely something to look at, the fact that eating disorders don't just affect white middle class girls who are pretty thin to begin with, and then they just get thinner and stuff. No, it doesn't work that way. Eating disorders affect everyone, um, like any race or gender, whatever, because basically eating disorders don't come to a certain sect of people. It comes to an individual due to social, emotional, through the influence of media, biological factors, also just everything that's going on in your life and the hormones inside of you and how you react. That's what leads to an eating disorder. It's not the fact that I happen to be a white girl in my teenage years who's in the middle class. That's not it. That's not I went down the checklist and said all those things, and because I have 5 out of 5 or whatever, I have an eating disorder. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of the times, people with eating disorders are the ones that you would least expect it to be, or people who self-harm, the last person you would think of. I mean, um, you try and put a stereotype on what a self-harmer would be, for example, and you would say, oh, it's the girl who's emo and wears black all the time, and she paints her nails black, and she talks about death all the time and stuff. Yeah, she's a self-injurer. But for somebody like me who is a self-injurer, you might be surprised to find out that I love cheerleading and gymnastics. I did cheerleading for 4 years. I what's it called? I'm a very religious person. I'm very deeply rooted in my faith. Um, I'm also an avid reader, and yes, I do love the color black, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter that my color, one of my favorite colors is black. That doesn't result in me being a self-harmer. It's all of the factors that play into self-injury. But I just really wanted to point out that um, eating disorders, self-harm, depression, basically anything, bipolar, um, substance abuse, bullying, and um, all of that, it doesn't affect one sect of people. And so because you might be um, like not in like the first person you would think of, like the stereotypical person who would have an eating disorder. That's no reason to say that you don't have an eating disorder, because eating disorders can affect anyone, which is really what I want to point out, because you can find numerous stories here on YouTube, even through videos, books, other resources that show that it can affect anyone. I know there's a YouTube documentary that's posted about an 8-year-old anorexic. Um, and there's other ones posted about like 40-year-olds. And it's just like all this differentness is showing that it's different. Like it doesn't affect like a certain sect of people, but it's still an eating disorder and it's still a mental illness that can result in death. Um, yeah, so basically that was my main point in this video, just saying that don't like judge people and think like, oh, they obviously like seem to have their life together. They can't have an eating disorder, um, because that's not necessarily the case. It Eating disorders can affect anyone, and so you can't just look at somebody and say, oh, they don't have an eating disorder, which I know is the first thing that you would think of when you look at somebody, because you don't want to believe that they would do that to themselves, but you never know. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Let me know if you guys like this video, like when I talk about just eating disorder things in general. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just write some comment. I like hearing from you guys, and yeah, it's fun. I mean, yeah, it's the best thing when you log onto YouTube and it's like one new comment, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing. So please, please, please comment, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, I guess that's it, guys. Bye.